The Fantastic Four just doomed the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In a good way. Allow me to explain. Welcome back to Nerdist News, I'm Dan Casey, and today we're talking about, you guessed it, the Fantastic Four. Hot on the heels of Superman, the Fantastic Four First Steps hits theaters this week, with a healthy dose of Silver Age style, mid-century mayhem, and beloved characters finally receiving the cinematic adaptation they so richly deserve. Well, not that version. I mean, yes, but also no. Anyway, my point is, the Fantastic Four First Steps seemingly explains exactly how the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to die. Now, I don't say this to be hyperbolic or fear-mongering. I'm a big fan of the MCU. I mean, just look at the past decade of videos we've made. I say this because, as anyone who's read the comics can tell you, it's the logical endpoint for Avengers Secret Wars. Even Marvel Studios head honcho Kevin Feige confirmed that the MCU will experience a reset after Secret Wars. Speaking with Variety, Feige said, "Reboot is a scary word. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline. We're thinking along those lines. X-Men is where that will happen next." Now, Feige also confirmed that other Marvel characters will eventually be recast, including its most iconic roles like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Now, I imagine it's going to be similar to the DCU, where certain elements hold over, others are going to be reborn and reimagined, but that is a story for another video. Today we have to talk about something more important, back to the matter at hand. How exactly did the Fantastic Four doom the MCU? Well, to explain in detail, we have to spoil what happens in Fantastic Four First Steps. So if you haven't seen it yet and you somehow clicked this video or you're worried about that sort of thing, well, leave now before it's too late. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? It's no secret that the Fantastic Four First Steps was going to introduce Franklin Richards. I mean, they spilled those particular baby beans in the trailers.
You're gonna be the best mom in the world.
As longtime comic readers know, Sue Storm and Reed Richards' firstborn son is one of the most powerful beings in the entire Marvel Universe, period. Classified as an Omega-level mutant in the comics, Franklin is someone who's capable of reshaping reality at a cosmic scale. While Franklin is not confirmed yet as a mutant in the MCU, Galactus recognizes that Franklin is imbued with the power cosmic. Now, as we see in both the comics and this movie, the power cosmic is pretty OP. It ranges from teleporting across great distances, to turning unassuming citizens of Zen-La into Capri Sun commercials, to being able to bring people back from the dead. So yeah, it's pretty powerful. And it's inside of a baby. So to paraphrase Galactus, that baby's strong as hell. Franklin Richards is one of the most powerful beings in the entire MCU. Now, we gotta do a formal power scaling later on, but based on his comic book counterpart, I'd probably place him somewhere between, say, Scarlet Witch and like Eternity from Thor Love and Thunder, two very powerful beings. Look, once we get Santa Claus in the MCU, it's game over, and Franklin's still a toddler, so anything can happen, but we'll revisit those power rankings later on, but suffice to say, they done changed. But first, let's establish something more important, things we know to be true. Franklin is strong enough that Galactus tried to kidnap him to stop his interstellar mukbang. And in the film's mid-credit scene, we see Chekhov's Latvian, Dr. Doom, trying to get his metal mitts on Franklin as well. And the next big event in the MCU is titled Avengers Doomsday. That's gonna pit our heroes against Dr. Doom. The title also sounds like it's gonna be the Infinity War for the Multiverse saga, and for good reason. As we've seen in Multiverse of Madness, Quantumania, and Loki, we know all of this multiversal mucking about can lead to incursion events.
What?
Now, in the comics, as a reminder, incursions are what happens when two different universes in the multiverse find themselves on a collision course. Basically, a nexus event occurs in one of the timelines in the multiverse that creates a ripple effect, leading to two universes smashing together. When they collide, they destroy each other, which in turn makes another ripple effect, so on and so forth. I know it's more complicated in the comics, I'm simplifying a bit here, but just bear with me. And based on all the incursion events we've seen in the Multiverse of Madness, Loki, Quantumania, you name it, they don't bode well. The Marvels showed us how weak the fabric of space-time is actually becoming.
You are now in a reality parallel to your own.
Deadpool and Wolverine threw the concept of anchor beings into the mix. Basically, they're people whose death can effectively cause that universe to die, which is even more incursion fuel.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
So, based on the source material in all of the MCU entries to date, we can safely assume the lead up to Avengers Doomsday is going to result in one of those incursion events threatening Earth 616 or Earth 199999 if you're nasty. Most likely, Earth 616 is going to be on a collision course with Earth 10005, the universe where all the Fox Marvel movies took place. And then we'll get that Avengers vs. X-Men showdown that many people are speculating is going to happen. So, the question then becomes, how do our dear friends from the Fantastic Four First Steps get involved? Great question, Derek! Now, our first look at Avengers Doomsday happened in the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts that involved the Fantastic Four venturing from Earth 828 to Earth 616. But why did they leave their own beloved universe behind? Well, based on rumors swirling about Avengers Doomsday and some context clues, it seems likely that Doctor Doom is going to abscond with Franklin Richards to utilize his reality-warping cosmic powers. Because even though Earth 828 may not be directly threatened yet, these incursion events ultimately lead to the death of the multiverse writ large. Now, many of you might be wondering, Dan, why would Doctor Doom do this? Well, as a lot of you probably know, Doctor Doom is on the Mount Rushmore of all-time haters. He would leap at the opportunity to do what Reed Richards could not, and to use his own son, Reed's own son, to do what Reed couldn't, save the multiverse from dying. Oh my god, delicious. Yum, 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 yum. Dr. Doom would just eat it up like pizza, or I guess that's, sorry. I have a reason for this. That's the only food that'll fit through the slot in his mask. Or like a long, thin cookie, eating cookies the long way. Now, many of you probably know, in the comics, Doom did this exact thing. Not eat cookies the long way, sorry. Doom used the power of the Beyonders, a group of all-powerful beings with the ability to rewrite reality itself. Now here in the MCU, Franklin Richards seems like he's going to be the conduit for reshaping the dying Marvel multiverse into Battleworld. You know, Battleworld? The patchwork reality that Doom rules over as a God King in Avengers Secret Wars? Yeah, that Battleworld.
You want to keep the story interesting.
So it seems likely that Avengers Doomsday is going to end with Earth's mightiest heroes and the children of the Atom suffering a great defeat. They're going to lose the battle in a moment that will hopefully feel as shocking as the snap did in Avengers Infinity War. Doom is going to emerge triumphant, and the Fantastic Four will not be able to rescue Franklin. Doom, in turn, will use Franklin's abilities to fuse all these disparate, dying universes on collision courses into one thing called Battleworld, and that will be the setting for Avengers Secret Wars. And instead of Molecule Man being the secret battery that powers Doom's new kingdom, it's going to be Franklin. And hopefully Doom's going to treat Franklin a bit better than he did Owen Reese, because a man cannot survive on pocket burgers alone. Now, this is just part one of how Franklin will doom the Marvel Universe. The second part will come at the end of Secret Wars, when Franklin is presumably eventually rescued. He's going to use his powers to forge a new prime reality for the MCU to exist in moving forward, just like he did in the comics. And this will be a new MCU, one that combines aspects of all the previous cinematic universes to become a singular timeline like Kevin Feige mentioned. Because folks, let's face it, they already have 3 more phases of the MCU planned. They need to clear the table just a little bit so people stop complaining about superhero fatigue and things feeling like homework. Now, if you'll indulge me for a bit of absolute tinfoil hat theorizing, I think Secret Wars is going to end in a very specific fashion. It's going to fade into a flash of white light, and that reveals a brand new reality. We open on a beautiful green lawn, students are out and about. We see a beautiful mansion, and then we pan up to see a sign at the gate. It says, Charles Xavier School for Gifted and Talented Mutants. Roll credits. The Marvel Cinematic Universe will return. ... Cheesy? Perhaps, but overall, this feels like we have a clear direction for how the multiverse saga is going to end. And by the time it does, Marvel will have absolutely earned both that ending and a reset. They will have crafted nearly 50 interconnected films and TV shows over the course of 20 years. Now, whether you like the MCU or not, it's undeniably one of the most impressive and insane feats of narrative storytelling ever achieved. It's really pretty incredible. Now, all of that said, this theory, I admit, it has plenty of holes in it. For instance, what about the whole Loki of it all? I mean, the god of mischief, now tending the branches of the multiverse like a space-time bonsai tree, what's he gonna do? How does Doctor Doom know exactly what universe to flee to? And is that even the same Fantastic Four in Avengers Doomsday? When Empire magazine asked Kevin Feige if the Fantastic Four ship in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene is in fact the Excelsior, Feige said, well, the name of their ship is the Excelsior, and there is a Fantastic Four ship entering the MCU in the tag, but I'm not sure they're the same ship. Huh. So multiversal hijinks abound. Only time will tell for certain how and when the MCU ends, but as for how we get there, well, suffice to say, thanks to the Fantastic Four, we're doomed. Anyway, folks, there you have it. If you want to delve even deeper into all things Fantastic Four First Steps, we've got you covered over on Nerdist.com. And if you want to delve even deeper and hear folks like Nerdist senior editor Kyle Anderson break down the movie in detail, stay tuned for an upcoming episode of Laser Focus, wherever fine podcasts are served. Anyway, folks, in the meantime, tell us, what did you think of the Fantastic Four First Steps? What do you think of this theory? Do you think that Franklin Richards is both the cause of and solution to all of life's problems? Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, make sure you stay tuned to Nerdist.com.